This message found you because your consciousness is ready to recognize the most powerful force in the quantum field. And it's not love, it's not intention, it's not even thought, it's coherence. From the very start, you feel that magnetic pull, the sense that this isn't random, that you were meant to hear these words right now. You've always been using coherence without realizing it, like an invisible current shaping your reality. And here's the paradox. You've tried to manifest, you've tried to align your desires, you've repeated affirmations, yet something kept blocking you. The reason is coherence, or the lack of it. What if everything that went wrong in your life wasn't failure, but coherence, reorganizing itself in disguise? What if the very chaos you resisted was the field preparing you for expansion? In the next few minutes, you'll see why reality doesn't respond to intention alone. It only bends when you live in coherence. Coherence is the invisible organizer of reality, the hidden rhythm that decides whether life flows or locks up. You've felt it before, those days when everything unfolds effortlessly and others when nothing moves, even with the same actions. That contrast is not random, it's coherence. It's more than emotion or positive thought. It's the alignment of intention, biology, and presence, the resonance of your heart field with the quantum flow. This isn't something new to learn. It's something you've already experienced without realizing. And the real paradox, even your struggles might be coherence, reshaping you, preparing you, pushing you toward alignment. When we talk about quantum coherence, we're not referring to something far away or abstract, but to a living process happening within you right now. Imagine the invisible alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you do as a magnetic field silently shaping your reality. When those three forces clash, awareness fragments and the field resists. But when they align, a natural flow appears, where manifestation unfolds almost effortlessly. It's like the field itself responds to that resonance, opening doors that once seemed locked. Reality doesn't bend through sheer force. It shifts through frequency, vibration, and coherence. This alignment is not about just thinking positively. How many times has someone repeated affirmations, but deep down felt unworthy? Consciousness catches that mismatch, and the quantum field mirrors the truth of the heart, not the mask of the mind. It's like a magnet with misaligned poles. Instead of attraction, there's repulsion. Manifestation emerges from coherence, not struggle. When thought provides direction, feeling provides resonance, and action provides embodiment, a magnetic coherent state is created. Suddenly, probability bends in your favor, and synchronicity shows up as proof of alignment. Let me ground this with a personal story. There was a time when changing life seemed impossible, like hitting invisible walls at every turn. But the moment an inner decision aligned with a coherent emotional state, everything began to flow. Opportunities appeared, resistance eased, and synchronicities multiplied. It wasn't about forcing outcomes, but about stopping the subtle vibrational sabotage within. That shift in awareness created recognition that reality is not waiting for you to push. It's waiting for you to align. Coherence is not demand, it's integration. Think of a river. Swimming against the current requires exhaustion, resistance, and control. But aligning with the current, you discover speed and ease without more effort. That's coherence in space-time. You don't create flow by force. You join the frequency already moving. Reality is not an enemy to be conquered, but a unified field to be recognized. When observer and field meet in resonance, energy stops scattering and begins concentrating into manifestation. Coherence is simply entering the right stream, where timing, expansion, and awareness converge. Many confuse coherence with perfection, but that's a trap. Coherence doesn't mean never failing. It means noticing misalignment and returning to your axis. It's like a violin string. When out of tune, it produces noise, but with subtle adjustments, it resonates beautifully within the orchestra. In the same way, your heart field seeks resonance between thoughts, emotions, and actions. When that resonance emerges, reality becomes a symphony, an electromagnetic song of vibration, alignment, and direct knowing, where everything fits in coherence, pressure, and flow. The fascinating truth is, you've already experienced coherence, maybe without naming it. Think of that time when a decision felt undeniably right, your intuition confirmed it, and life supported you with synchronicities. That was temporal coherence at work, guiding your awareness into alignment with the quantum information field. The challenge is not finding it, but sustaining it long enough to create embodiment. Expansion is not about perfection, but about recognizing and re-entering that coherent state whenever life feels scattered. That's why simple practices matter. Conscious breathing, meditative silence, or even a mindful walk recalibrate the nervous system and bring heart-brain alignment. The field doesn't respond to rushed words, but to the frequency stabilized in the heart. When coherence awakens, vibration organizes itself and the perception of reality shifts. Synchronicities increase, awareness sharpens, and flow becomes natural. This isn't childish magic, it's quantum physics meeting consciousness in the electromagnetic fabric of space-time. And once you taste it, the recognition stays with you. The beauty of coherence is that it frees you from chasing. Instead of running after outcomes, you begin to attract them in perfect timing, as if an unseen intelligence were organizing the sequence of events. The more coherence you embody, the more the unified field responds with creative probability. It's a metamorphosis from separation into alignment, from struggle into resonance. And here lies the deeper mystery. There is an invisible physics behind this coherence that scientists are only beginning to decode. That's where we step into the next topic, the hidden physics of the invisible field. Behind what we see, there's an invisible architecture that organizes reality. Physicists call it phase coherence, a hidden alignment where waves synchronize to create order instead of noise. Imagine two instruments. If one violin is out of tune, the whole orchestra sounds chaotic. But when each instrument aligns, the resonance fills the hall with beauty. Life works the same way. When your inner vibration is out of sync, reality feels fragmented. But when you find coherence, the unified field responds with resonance, flow, and synchronicity. Think about daily life. Have you noticed how mornings often dictate the rhythm of the entire day? Wake up rushed, skip breakfast, scroll mindlessly, and suddenly everything feels disorganized. But wake up with intention, maybe with 5 minutes of breathing or gratitude, and the day flows differently. That's coherence pressure at play, the invisible state that sets your frequency and tunes how reality mirrors back to you. Timing, probability, and even the way people respond shift when you're in resonance rather than dissonance. Coherence isn't abstract, it's measurable. Heart rate variability, HRV for example, shows how your heart field interacts with your nervous system. When you're anxious, your HRV collapses and the field becomes incoherent. When you're calm, HRV stabilizes and your body's electromagnetic flow aligns. You've probably felt it in meetings. One anxious person can change the entire room's energy, but when someone enters with calm awareness, suddenly others relax. That's the physics of invisible fields organizing collective vibration. Let's bring it closer. Picture being in traffic. When you're irritated, every red light seems endless. Drivers cut you off, and reality feels like resistance. But when you're in coherence, listening to music, maybe even reflecting, the same traffic becomes bearable, sometimes even synchronistic, with green lights showing up as if in rhythm. The field outside mirrors the inner state. It's not superstition. It's how resonance organizes space-time events, bending probability toward your alignment. Daily annoyances reveal deep lessons in temporal coherence. Even technology reflects this invisible physics. Have you ever noticed your phone glitching when you're stressed, or your computer freezing exactly when you're in a hurry? While it sounds funny, many people recognize these synchronicities. Your vibration, frequency, and coherent state subtly interact with electromagnetic fields around you. Science might call it interference, but from a consciousness perspective, it's alignment or misalignment showing up in material reality. It's as if the field itself gives feedback, asking for integration instead of pressure. Relationships also reveal this hidden physics. Two people can say the same words, but their energy makes all the difference. Think of a friend who listens with genuine awareness. You feel expanded, seen, aligned. Then compare it to someone who listens distractedly. The same words lose resonance. That's coherence organizing human connection. It shows us that communication isn't only verbal. It's electromagnetic, non-local, and vibrational. We recognize authenticity not through logic, but through resonance in the heart field. Another example, sports teams. A group with talented individuals but no alignment loses easily. Yet a team with average skills but deep coherence, trust, timing, flow often wins. Why? Because resonance creates efficiency, amplifying results beyond raw force. The same applies to creative projects, workplaces, or even families. Coherence integrates scattered energy into expansion, while separation dissolves it into chaos. Every area of life reflects whether the invisible physics is in tune or out of sync. And here's the paradox. Reality doesn't respond to force, but to integrated frequency. The violin tuned by pressure breaks. The one tuned with care resonates endlessly. Life mirrors this physics. The more we try to control through separation, the more resistance arises. But when we allow resonance, flow, and awareness to guide, manifestation unfolds naturally. This hidden science is not just theory, it's the ground of everyday experience. And it leads us into the next insight, how coherence translates into the body itself, shaping health, intuition, and expansion. When your body enters a state of coherence, it's like an orchestra where every instrument suddenly finds harmony. The nervous system relaxes, the heart field stabilizes, and even your brain waves shift into resonance. Science calls this heart-brain alignment, and it's measurable through HRV, heart rate variability. But beyond the numbers, you feel it in your bones. Reality seems softer, awareness expands, and synchronicity begins to whisper everywhere. The body itself becomes a tuning fork, broadcasting frequency into the unified field. Think of the last time you felt at peace. Maybe it was during a walk in nature, a deep conversation, or even a quiet moment alone. Your breath slowed, shoulders dropped, and suddenly everything felt lighter. That was your body aligning into a coherent state. In that moment, you weren't forcing manifestation. You were embodying resonance, and the quantum field responded not to your words but to your vibration. Reality listens to energy more than language. I remember when my health started shifting after I introduced simple breathing practices. At first it seemed insignificant, 5 minutes of intentional inhale and exhale. But within weeks, energy levels rose, sleep improved, and even intuition sharpened. The body had found rhythm again. It wasn't about doing more, but about entering flow. That shift reminded me that coherence awakening doesn't require massive changes, just consistent integration. The field responds when you embody the alignment rather than chase it. Daily stress is the biggest disruptor of this coherence. At work, for example, rushing from task to task while holding frustration creates incoherence. The heart field contracts, the electromagnetic rhythm scatters, and the body resists. But pause for a single minute of conscious breathing, and something remarkable happens. Tension dissolves, the heart expands, and awareness returns. It's like pressing reset on your frequency. allowing the observer within to realign with the quantum information field. Your body is constantly sending signals about alignment. Stomach knots, shallow breathing, or tension headaches are not random. They're the language of incoherence. By contrast, when you feel lightness, openness, or a magnetic pull of intuition, that's coherence speaking. Most people ignore these cues, chasing external solutions. But learning to listen transforms your reality. Integration begins with recognizing that your body is not a barrier to manifestation. It's the bridge between vibration and experience. Relationships reveal this bodily coherence too. When you enter a room calm and aligned, people notice, even if you say nothing. Your energy field communicates faster than words, creating either expansion or contraction around you. Think about someone whose presence makes you feel safe without explanation. That's coherence embodied. On the flip side, someone who constantly radiates stress drains the environment. Awareness of this dynamic can turn daily interactions into practice grounds for coherence. Technology can't replicate this frequency. A smartwatch may measure HRV, but it can't embody resonance for you. Only direct knowing through practice integrates coherence into your nervous system. That's why methods like meditation, Tai Chi, or even mindful dancing are so powerful. They train the body to sustain vibration in flow. Over time, this becomes second nature, and your coherent state stabilizes, turning ordinary life into an extraordinary field of manifestation. The deeper truth is that the quantum field responds more to your heartbeat than to your words. When your body vibrates in alignment, space-time itself seems to bend in your favor. Synchronicities multiply, timing becomes perfect, and creative opportunities appear without force. But if the body is the bridge, what happens when chaos enters? Could incoherence also hold hidden intelligence, guiding transformation in ways we don't immediately recognize? That paradox is the door to our next topic. Here's a paradox most people miss. Incoherence is not failure. It's part of coherence reorganizing itself. Think of a butterfly inside the chrysalis. At first, its body dissolves into chaos, cells breaking down in what seems like destruction. Yet within that chaos, a hidden intelligence orchestrates a new form. The same happens in consciousness. When your reality feels fragmented, when vibration scatters, it's not proof of separation. It's the coherence pressure building, preparing your field for metamorphosis. Daily life offers countless examples. Maybe your job suddenly collapses, a relationship ends, or your health dips. At first it feels like incoherence, like life is breaking apart. But often, those very moments are the ones that push awareness into alignment with a higher resonance. Losing one opportunity creates space for another that was waiting to manifest. The unified field doesn't punish, it reorganizes. Incoherence is simply the creative tension before expansion. I remember a season when everything seemed to fall apart. Finances, work, even relationships. It felt like total misalignment, as though reality had turned against me. But in hindsight, every piece of that collapse was a coherence awakening. Old patterns dissolved, intuition grew sharper, and synchronicity began guiding me to new directions. What seemed like chaos was actually the observer within realigning with the quantum field. Without that disintegration, the integration never would have come. Think about exercise. When muscles are stressed, they literally tear apart on a microscopic level. Incoherence in the tissue creates temporary pain. But with rest and alignment, the body rebuilds stronger. The same applies to consciousness. Stress and breakdowns are not the end, but signals of new capacity forming. What feels like incoherence is actually coherence in disguise, recalibrating your vibration so the next state of embodiment can emerge. The field uses resistance as a sculptor uses pressure. Even technology reflects this paradox. A computer sometimes freezes, forcing a restart. Frustrating in the moment, yes. But that reset clears hidden errors and allows the system to run smoother. Life's incoherence operates the same way. A relationship argument, a failed project, or even emotional breakdowns are not the death of coherence, but its recalibration. Reality reorganizes itself through these micro-collapses, setting the stage for timing, flow, and probability to align again. Relationships show this vividly. Disagreements may feel like incoherence, but often they reveal misalignments that need to surface. Without those chaotic conversations, deeper intimacy can't be built. It's the same in spiritual growth. Without facing incoherence, the awareness never expands into direct knowing. The resonance of the heart field grows stronger precisely because it endured the friction of separation. In other words, incoherence is a teacher, not an enemy. Even nature embodies this paradox. Forest fires, though destructive, often allow ecosystems to reset, clearing old growth so new life can flourish. The unified field works in cycles, and incoherence is one of its natural rhythms. We resist it because it feels uncomfortable, but in reality, it's part of the non-local intelligence guiding metamorphosis. The magnetic pull of coherence awakening often hides beneath the ashes of what we call failure. So when your life feels messy, when nothing seems aligned, pause before judging it as a mistake. Incoherence might be your chrysalis moment, your heart field dissolving what no longer serves. Chaos doesn't mean collapse, it means reorganization. Every breakdown carries the seeds of a breakthrough. Every dissonance hides a resonance waiting to emerge. And this is why learning to recognize the subtle signals of coherence is so essential, because chances are you're already closer to alignment than you think. One of the most surprising truths is that you may already be living in coherence without naming it. Think about those uncanny synchronicities, the right call at the right time, the stranger who gives you exactly the answer you were seeking, or the job offer that shows up right after you release fear. These are not coincidences, they're signals of alignment. The quantum field mirrors your vibration, and when you're in resonance, life responds with perfect timing. Coherence is often subtle but deeply recognizable. Another sign is intuitive downloads. Have you ever felt a sudden knowing without logic backing it up? That flash of intuition is the unified field transmitting information beyond space-time, a non-local form of direct knowing. It doesn't feel like thinking, it feels like remembering. And when you act on it, things unfold with ease. That's coherence awakening in action, guiding you not through force, but through subtle magnetic resonance. Intuition is one of the clearest markers of coherence. Pay attention to how people react around you. When in a coherent state, others often say things like, "You feel different," or "Your energy has changed." It's not about appearance, it's about vibration. The heart field radiates electromagnetic frequencies measurable several feet from the body, and others unconsciously feel it. That recognition is evidence of alignment, an external reflection of your internal resonance. Reality confirms coherence through the feedback of relationships. Technology also reveals this hidden dialogue. Ever noticed your phone freezing when you're anxious or your laptop glitching when you're stressed? It sounds almost humorous, but many have experienced it. The coherent state, or lack of it, interacts with electromagnetic fields around you. When you're calm, devices seem to function smoother. When you're scattered, errors multiply. It's as if the field outside mirrors the vibration within, reminding you that manifestation begins in energy, not in code. Your body gives signals too. A sudden sense of flow while walking, deeper breathing without trying, or even a lightness in your chest can all point to coherence. Sometimes, after meditation or simply sitting in gratitude, you feel time stretch, space-time bending into presence. That's temporal coherence, when the observer within merges with the rhythm of the unified field. These micro moments carry the same power as grand manifestations because they show integration is already happening. Notice the way challenges unfold. In incoherence, problems feel like walls. In coherence, they transform into steps. The exact same situation, say a delayed flight, can either spark frustration or reveal opportunity. When you meet it with alignment, synchronicities often appear. You run into someone important, you get time to read a book that shifts your awareness, or you avoid a bigger problem entirely. Reality bends according to the resonance you carry. That's coherence manifesting in daily life. Creative flow is another unmistakable signal. Writers describe words pouring out effortlessly. Athletes speak of being in the zone, and musicians lose track of time while playing. This coherent state removes separation between observer and action, making embodiment seamless. It's not that the work is easier, it's that energy stops resisting and begins integrating. The magnetic rhythm of coherence turns effort into flow, probability into precision, and timing into perfect expansion. So if you've noticed synchronicities, intuitive flashes, people sensing your energy, or even your body relaxing into awareness, recognize that you're not starting from zero. You're already walking within the field of coherence, perhaps without labeling it. The recognition itself expands it, because awareness fuels alignment. And here's the secret. Even the pressure you feel when life gets heavy is part of this same process, preparing you for the next leap. Which brings us to the seed, the hidden force pressing you toward breakthrough. Pressure often feels like failure, but in truth, it's the hidden force of transformation. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening, yet inside, vibration builds, coherence pressure grows, and one day it cracks open. That crack is not weakness, it's metamorphosis. The same happens in consciousness. What feels like unbearable resistance is often energy gathering momentum to push you into alignment and expansion. Daily life reflects this pattern everywhere. A student struggling with late-night study sessions often feels overwhelmed, yet those sleepless nights compress awareness until a sudden moment of clarity appears. A parent juggling work and family may feel suffocated, only to discover resilience and intuition awakening in the chaos. Pressure is not separation from coherence, it's its preparation. The unified field uses timing and flow, disguised as obstacles to build strength in the observer. I remember times when everything collapsed at once: money problems, health issues, broken plans. At first it seemed like incoherence swallowing everything, but in hindsight, those were the exact moments where coherence awakening took place. The cracks revealed hidden strength. Synchronicity arrived afterward, as if the field had been waiting for that release. Just like the seed cannot remain comfortable underground forever, you cannot stay in a life that no longer fits your vibration. Think of the gym. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Every repetition applies pressure, micro tears forming in the tissue. Painful, yes, but necessary. After rest, the body reorganizes into a stronger state. Consciousness follows the same rhythm. The resistance you face in space-time, whether financial struggles, career setbacks, or relational challenges, is coherence pressure shaping your frequency. Without that push, alignment would never take root in the heart field. Even nature screams this truth. Watch a sprout break through concrete. The surface looks impenetrable, yet the energy within that tiny seed is enough to crack stone. That's magnetic persistence. In your own reality, the times you felt cornered were actually proof of resonance building inside. Awareness expands, not despite the pressure, but because of it. Coherence organizing often looks like chaos first, but it is secretly preparing embodiment of a new field. The same pattern shows up in relationships. Arguments and discomfort often precede breakthroughs in intimacy. The heart field expands after pressure has cleared out hidden blockages. Think about a friendship where honesty once caused friction, only to later deepen the connection. That coherent state couldn't have emerged without temporary conflict. In this way, pressure acts as a cleansing fire, burning away incoherence so resonance can stabilize in truth. Technology mirrors this principle as well. Your phone battery must discharge completely before recharging at full capacity. Systems crash before rebooting into smoother performance. These breakdowns aren't accidents. They're cycles of coherence rebalancing. Life reflects the same quantum pattern. The observer experiences breakdown, but the field is silently preparing integration. What looks like the end is often just a reset into a higher vibration and greater alignment. So when you feel the weight of pressure, remember, you're not failing, you're cracking open. The vibration inside is stronger than the soil outside. Each struggle is the field organizing you for metamorphosis. The coherence, awakening you sense, is already pushing upward, seeking expression. And just as the seed doesn't need to be told how to grow, you don't need to force the flow, you only need to allow. Which brings us to the next realization. Coherence isn't something you create, it's the natural state revealed when you remove the noise. The greatest misunderstanding about coherence is the belief that you must create it. In truth, coherence is your natural state. It's already woven into your consciousness and body. What blocks it are the layers of noise, overthinking, emotional clutter, and misaligned actions. Imagine a radio tuned between stations. Static fills the air until you adjust the dial. Once tuned, the music was always there. You just couldn't hear it. The same applies to the quantum information field. Alignment doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be uncovered. Daily examples make this clear. Think of children at play. They don't try to be in coherence, they simply are. Their laughter flows, their creativity sparks effortlessly, and their vibration radiates naturally. Adults often lose this coherent state because of overanalysis and separation. But when you paint, sing, or even take a walk without agenda, coherence re-emerges. Flow happens not when you add effort, but when you release resistance. Awareness opens the channel already present. I once met a musician who said his best performances happened not when he tried hardest, but when he let the music play through him. That's embodiment of coherence. The observer dissolves into the act, and resonance carries the flow. The heart field organizes the timing, the rhythm, and the expression. Coherence pressure doesn't need pushing, it needs allowing. The same applies to manifestation. The more you try to control, the more you scatter vibration. Integration comes when you let go. Nature offers a mirror for this truth. Birds don't force themselves to migrate. They align with magnetic fields. Flowers don't struggle to bloom. They follow timing coded within. Reality flows with a rhythm of coherence that doesn't require micromanagement. Humans, however, often resist by clinging to separation, thinking control ensures safety. But safety comes from resonance with the unified field, not from over-effort. The body knows how to align if you give it space. Think of moments when you lost track of time while working on something meaningful. Hours felt like minutes, intuition guided decisions, and outcomes exceeded logic. That was temporal coherence at play, where space-time bends around alignment. You didn't create that state. It emerged when noise disappeared. The flow of consciousness organizes itself naturally, showing that coherence is not a skill to be learned, but a truth to be remembered. Relationships thrive on this same principle. When two people stop forcing conversations and simply allow presence, connection deepens. It's not about perfect words, it's about resonance in the heart field. The magnetic pull of authenticity does what scripted phrases never could. Coherence awakens intimacy when masks dissolve. This shows that life's most powerful alignments happen not through performance, but through genuine awareness and embodiment. Technology gives us another analogy. When your Wi-Fi signal is strong, you don't need to refresh the page constantly. Everything flows. But when the signal weakens, frustration rises and you try harder. Yet the problem isn't effort, it's connection. The same happens with coherence. The field doesn't require you to push harder, it asks you to reconnect. Frequency, resonance, and alignment are always available when the interference clears. Coherence is your signal. And here's the quiet truth. You don't force the leap into expansion. Coherence carries you there. The flow is natural, the resonance magnetic, and the manifestation inevitable once noise is removed. Embodiment doesn't mean striving. It means allowing the unified field to move through you. This understanding reframes everything. Success, healing, even awakening, all emerge from coherence already within, which leads us to the final recognition that coherence isn't just an experience, but the very path your consciousness was always walking. Coherence is not a technique, it's your natural state when you stop resisting. Every time you tried to control, force, or overthink, you moved away from flow. But the moment you allowed alignment, when thought, heart, and action found resonance, life responded. What you call a problem may not be failure at all. It could simply be coherence reorganizing you. And this truth doesn't stop with you. Each being who awakens coherence lights a frequency in the human field. Every act of alignment strengthens the collective resonance. The world shifts not by force, but by coherence awakening in countless hearts. Here's the anchor. You are not searching for coherence. You are coherence, recognizing itself through the human experience. If something activated within you today, drop the words "I am coherence" in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next step of this journey. Share this with someone who feels like their life is collapsing, because maybe, just maybe, they're not breaking down, they're about to bloom. And remember this cosmic truth: you didn't click on this video. Your coherence brought you here, and the journey is only beginning.